Luck Be a Lady Part 1 is the 21st and penultimate episode of the second season of Full House. This is directed by Bill Foster, and there will be spoilers as I discuss various aspects of the episode. And it's a pretty decent episode. It's a little bit different because it's actually set almost entirely at a hotel and casino, in particularly the fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino. But it does start off in the Tanner house with Michelle and Danny acting like dogs, which is the cutest thing ever, and it's just so adorable in a really great way to start things off. Before they leave the house, Jesse also reveals to some of the others, obviously not to Becky, that he's planning on telling her that he loves her. And as I think Danny pointed out, they've been dating for a long time for him to have not said I love you, or vice versa, for Becky to have not said it to him yet. So it's a pretty big deal. And part of the episode is the build-up to that and what happens with that. And I will talk about that when we get there. The rest of the episode is at the hotel and casino, and they have gone there because Danny and Rebecca are hosting, I never call her Rebecca, Danny and Becky are hosting an episode of Wake Up San Francisco from there, so that's why they're there. Becky is very, very excited because she's getting to interview an actor called Todd Masters, who's played by Steve Bond. Jesse's a little bit jealous of the enthusiasm that she's showing for that. Meanwhile, Joey is looking after DJ and Stephanie. And while the girls are on one side of the rope, Joey decides to use the slot machine at their encouragement. It's not like he was gambling while looking after them and being irresponsible. It's that they wanted to gamble. He obviously said, no, you're too young, you're not allowed, but I'll show you what it is. And he demonstrates and he gets $2 and then I think he gets $10 and he kind of gets a little bit excited. He goes off to get a money bucket and DJ cannot resist temptation. So Stephanie gives her $1 from her sock and she puts the $1 in the machine and she gets the jackpot. And to begin with, everybody's just very excited about that. There's a lot of jumping. Joey and Danny and Stephanie and DJ are all jumping up as anybody would if you won a significant amount of money. But at that moment, it's not apparent that it was DJ who put the money in the slot, and we'll come back to that again. It's very unclear at this stage what's going to happen with that. Will Joey get the money? Will they get into trouble for the girls gambling? I will cover that in a little bit. We do come back to that. But first of all, we are back with Jesse and Becky, and I think it goes back and forth between the various aspects really well. Very, very well edited episode. And Jesse kind of breaks up with Becky live on air, which is very awkward and probably humiliating. And before we get a chance to find out what happens in the aftermath, Danny finds out that Joey won the money illegally. Technically, Joey didn't win the money, but he makes a valid argument because DJ won by putting the $1 in. And as Joey says, if he had put the $1 in next, it would have been the same pull. So it would have been the same outcome. So really, he would have won that money anyway. But his conscience gets the better of him. He tells the truth. And it doesn't matter because there was a security tape showing it anyway. So they've just lost the money that Joey would have won. And that's probably quite painful. Joey doesn't get angry. He doesn't get annoyed at DJ. But I can't imagine what it would feel like knowing that you were going to put money in that machine next and you would have won the jackpot. And it didn't happen because somebody else did it when they shouldn't have done. That would be so infuriating. But Joey, he doesn't lose it, I guess, because, well, maybe he feels responsible because he was watching the girls. Maybe he realizes that there are more important things than money. Personally, I would have been very irritated. But everything, I think, was very believable, very convincing with Joey. And, I definitely think there was a slight element of guilt with Joey. The rest of the episode focuses on Jesse and Becky, and they are having a shouting match in the hotel room, and it's very loud. And Jesse mentions offhand that he was supposed to say he loved her, and it was supposed to be this great vacation, working vacation, and Becky absorbs this information and says, I love you. And it takes Jesse a couple of moments to realise that she's just reciprocated this. And he gets so excited, and it's just so adorable. And John Stamos' performance is fabulous. And in the heat of the moment, he says, "Let's get married." And Becky's baffled. And then once that initial adrenaline rush fades away, he actually gets down on one knee and proposes, indicating that it's slightly a spur of the moment decision, but at the same time, he's giving it some proper thought, and he wants to marry Becky. And I do think that it's too much too soon, but nevertheless, Becky ultimately says yes. To be continued. So we find out, I know what happens because I've seen the episode, but we find out what happens in the next episode. Will they get married? Well, time will tell, and I will reveal all when I discuss the episode next week. Looking forward to rewatching it, and also slightly devastated that this season is almost over. Luck Be a Lady Part 1 is a great episode. We don't get a lot of Michelle, because Michelle is mostly in the fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino's daycare. So we only get a bit of her at the beginning. But it's not too bad without Michelle. We still have a lot of great things going on. Also, DJ is gorgeous. I've mentioned this before, but I have major hair envy. I just love her hair so much. And very, very jealous. But it's beautiful. And the episode itself, pretty great too. Luck Be a Lady Part 1 is pretty brilliant.